Often we see lots of flags on the top of temples, on the festival chariots, on tall trees, and even on tall buildings. They are commonly used in festivals, cultural and religious gatherings where people gather. Why they are used? Have you ever asked this question? If you ask this question to anybody or even you search in Google, you will find the reasons for use of flags, like flags are used as symbol of religion, as a symbol of a nation, as a symbol of a state, as a sign of victory, as a sign of a particular temple, or as a landmark. Means there is no scientific reason behind the use of flags. There is, my dear friends. And if you understand the science behind the use of flags, I'm very sure you feel very proud of our cultural or religious practices. So, are you interested to know the science behind the use of flags? Then watch this video till the end. Namaste friends, myself Dr. Mahesh Savalagimath. I am teaching Ayurveda and practicing Ayurveda dermatology since 14 years. Welcome to my channel, Dr. Mahesh speaking. Friends, our current education system, I mean the current westernized education system, has one major problem, that is nothing but if it gives some knowledge about anything, then it makes us ignorant about something else. It means before you learn something, you have to unlearn something else. The present education system is making us blind about our cultural and religious practices by asking us to question them as are our cultural and religious practices are scientific. Due to lack of scientific knowledge about our cultural practices or religious practices, even our grandparents are not able to justify these practices in terms of current so-called scientific language. Because of that, we start believing that our cultural or religious practices are only of cultural or religious value and they don't have any scientific value. As this type of belief system is installed in us, we have gradually started ignoring our cultural and religious practices. As a result of that, many of such religious and cultural practices are hardly in practice now. Friends, we need to stop this from happening. We need to work to explore and make people aware of the science behind our cultural and religious practices. I feel very proud to say that our nation stands on cultural and religious philosophies and practices because these are not mere practices, not mere principles, they are highly scientific. In this video, I am trying to explain the science behind use of flags. I hope I will find the references for many such Indian practices and I hope I will make many more this type of videos. Friends, in ancient India, the word science was presented as Shastra. So at that time, what were our Shastras? Our Shastras were Kagola Shastra, Jyotish Shastra, Ganita Shastra, Veda, Upanishad, all those were our Shastras which are nothing but they were our sciences. During those days, people used to trust and obey our sages, our rishis and gurus, and they hardly used to question them because those sages or the gurus were selfless. They had nothing to gain except the moksha or salvation. During those days, the only health science was Ayurveda. Our sages, our gurus taught all the health and human welfare related Ayurvedic principles and practices as cultural practices in the name of worshipping of gods or performing some rituals and all. Those ancient Indians never dared to avoid those cultural or religious practices because they were so much devoted towards the God, towards the sages, their gurus and all, and they believed avoiding such practices will make the God, sages or these gurus angry, and that will lead to the illness in our society. So our sages and gurus knew that if you put the science into somebody's mind as science, it may not be practiced. But instead of that, if you put the science in things where people have more devotion, then people will never forget or avoid such practices. Still today, we Indians, even though we keep on questioning our such practices, but we still practice them because we believe in God's cultural and religious practices more than science. Friends, don't feel dragged. Okay, please don't feel dragged. I will come back to the flags. But friends, it is high time. We have to try to educate current generation about the scientific aspects of cultural and religious practices of our great India. That will be one of the greatest contribution of us towards building a strong nation, because as I told, India stands on cultural, religious philosophies and practices. This is the era where we have those grandparents who know something or who have some knowledge about these kind of cultural and religious practices. So we need to learn from them about our practices, because tomorrow we are going to become grandparents of next generation. If we only fail to perform our practices, if we only fail to understand the science behind them, then what we are going to tell them? What we are going to tell our next generation about our Indian cultural and religious practices? Then these practices may remain only in the literatures. So that is why I dragged a bit. I'm very sorry for that. So as I told, in ancient India, the only health science was Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, there is one concept called Janapadodwansaneeya Rogas. Don't worry, I will simplify it. Janapada means group of people, like a place where large number of people reside or gather, like a village or something like that. Udvamsa means destroying. Rogas means, you all know, diseases. So it means mass affecting, mass destroying diseases. They are nothing but present day epidemic, endemic or COVID-19 like pandemic diseases, and also the diseases that are caused to the mass of people by spread of any poisons or toxins, or like through the pollution and all. So those type of diseases come under the category of Janapadodwansaneeya Rogas, and these diseases spread by many means. One of such mode of spreading of these diseases is through air. The droplet infection means the disease causing organisms spread through our sneeze, our cough, etc. These are called as droplet infections, and even the poisonous gases that enter into our environment from our own activities leading to air pollution. These droplet infections spread faster in the places where people gather in large masses, like in festivals, utsavas, cultural and religious gatherings, all those places. You all know that because of that only we had lockdowns, restrictions for large gatherings, etc. in last 2 years. So in those days they had the medicines to prevent such diseases, but there were no means of mass spreading or mass sanitization as in recent past we all have witnessed that mass fumigation or sanitization, etc. They had no machines, etc. to spread the medicines over larger area like blowing pumps or machines of today. But our ancestors were so wise that they were able to find the ways to spread the medicine over larger area, which can, destroy the disease causing organisms, also neutralize the toxins in the air. One such means was the use of flags and natural air. In Ashtanga Sangraha, one of the Ayurveda Samhita, we get the reference. Many references are there like that. This is one of the reference that I am quoting here. That is Devadaru Nata Ananta Maduka Arjuna Gairikam Vajrakandam Lata Lodram Vikiret Shlakshna Churitam Vrukshagreshu Patakasu Dusheshu Sumahatsucha Sarvataschurna Samparkat Nirvisho Jayate Anilaha. What is there? Devadaru, Nata, Ananta, Maduka, Arjuna, Gairika, Vajrakanda, Lodra, Latha. All these are medicinal plants. The powder of these, fine powder of these medicinal plants is to be spread, vikareth. It should be spread over larger area so that it is going to prevent the diseases. It's going to neutralize the toxins. Then how they used to spread that one? Patakasu dusheshu sumahatsu means this powder was pasted over pataka, nothing but the flags or large cloths. These powders were pasted and they were tied over the top of the tall trees or the towers of temples and all. So then what happens? The blowing air spreads that one. Sarvataschurna samparkat nirvisho jayate anilaha. That's blowing air spreads that powder over larger area and neutralizes the poisons and kills or destroys the disease causing organisms. Those medicines were not only destroying the disease causing microorganisms, but on entering into our body through the air, they were able to increase our immunity so that we can fight against such diseases. As the time passed, the practices remained intact, but we forgot the science behind the use of flags, and we started using the flags like plain flags as symbol of culture or religion. And even not only that, even we fought or still fighting for them. Because of this, people started using scientific disinfectants like DDT, etc. If you have visited any jatra or festival few years ago, you might have witnessed the spread of DDT on the sides of the roads, the areas where the festivals and all are going on, and even you might have closed your nose to because of that bad smell, isn't it? But friends, this DDT is not only harmful to these disease causing microorganisms, but it is hazardous to human health also. It is harmful to us also. The DDT has entered our body and disturbed our immunity. DDT, as you can see, the scientific researches have been done. DDT has been found in breast milk of breastfeeding mothers, leading to diseases in the babies. We started suffering from the side effects of DDT, but the organisms against which it was used, they developed the resistance. So that is the main reason why nowadays DDT is not used. Friends, this is what I wanted to tell. This is the science behind use of flags. If you feel this video is worth watching, please like and also share it with all your friends and family members. For more such videos, please subscribe to my channel Dr. Mahesh Speaking, and also click the bell icon so that you get notification of new videos whenever I upload. Thank you for watching this video. Stay healthy, stay happy. See you in next video. Till then, take care. Namaste.